A starts out from the front of the truck, and then we'll go underneath the hood. Three things we're looking for on the front. We're looking for all of our lights, and specifically meaning our headlights and our clearance lights. And then we look physically underneath the truck. So we'll go ahead and start from the top. We'll go ahead and start from the top. Anytime we're describing a light, you need to tell me, anytime you're describing a light or a piece of glass, it's always clean and clear, okay? You always need to tell me what color it is as well if you're talking about a light. So our clearance lights up top, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, clean and clear. And what color are they? Amber color. Coming down, we need to talk about our headlights. Headlights, describe to me what it is. So it's properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, clean and clear. So the small one is our high beam, the bigger one is our low beam. Then we got our indicator light, which is amber in color, and it's got three functions. It's a running light, turn signal, four-way flashing. Okay. So we got the driver's side. We need to cover the passenger side. The way you do that is, whenever I did on the driver's side, I'll do the passenger side. All right. Then we'll physically look underneath the truck. See if there's any loose hanging wires, any puddles, any leaks. Okay? Now we'll cover the front. Next, we'll go underneath the hood. Starting off on the passenger side, always on the passenger side. Got our alternator. Alternator is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broke. Now tell me if it's belt driven or gear driven. This one in particular is belt driven. Properly mounted. The belt is properly mounted and secured. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. When you push or pull on it, you shouldn't have more than 3/4 inch play. You can also tell me about the wires. Alternator wires. Properly mounted and secured. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. That's it for the passenger side. Everything else is on the driver's side. This is where most of the detail is at, okay? Everything over here, the easiest way to do it is to start from the top, going down, breaking it down in systems, okay? So the first system we're going to talk about is our coolant system. Start off with our coolant reservoir, which is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It is built to the manufacturer's specifications, and it has no leaks. Next, we'll talk about the caps, specifically underneath the cap. So we have a rubber seal, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, no leaks. The other part we got to talk about on the coolant, water pump, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. You got to tell me if it's belt driven or gear driven. This one in particular is belt driven, no leaks. That's it for coolant. Next, we'll go over oil. Starting with the oil dipstick. Oil dipstick is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. You also got to tell me how you would check it. You don't have to physically do it, just tell me how you would. So you pull it out, clean it, put it back in, pull it out, and it should read between add and full. The only other component on oil, if I need to add oil, here's my oil fill cap. You only need to point it out, you don't need to talk about it. That's it for oil. Next will be the most complex system, which is our power steering system. You can either start at the steering column, or you can start at the reservoir. We'll start at the reservoir today. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It is built to manufacturer specifications, no leaks. Then we talk about our caps once again. Underneath there's 2 rubber seals, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, no leaks. Then we'll go to our steering column. Steering column is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. When I rotate it, should rotate more than 10 degrees. The steering column leads to gearbox. Gearbox is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no leaks. Coming out of this gearbox, see, if you follow this black hose right here, and it goes straight to the bag, there's two components you can't see back there, okay? So we have our power steering pump and our air compressor. Both are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Both have no leaks, and both are gear driven. Okay. Coming up here, we have our 3-piece steering linkage. Easiest way to describe them. This one is our pitman arm. This one is our drag link. And then our tie rod is back here. All three are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. And all three are held with 3 castle nuts and 3 cotter pins. Right here. That's an example of how one looks like. Okay. And that's it for power steering. Next, we can either go to suspension or we can go to brakes. Suspension, 5 components. Front leaf spring mount, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. We have one in the front, we also have one in the rear. Check it the same way. In between the two, leaf springs, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not shifted or scissored. And then we got our U-bolts, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. And then our last component, shock absorber, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no leaks. Those are our 5 components. Front and rear leaf spring mounts, leaf springs, U-bolts, shock absorber. From there, we'll go to our brakes before coming out to the tire. Brakes, we'll start off with this airline. Airline is properly mounted and secured, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, no leaks. This airline leads to a brake chamber and clamp, which is one component. Brake chamber and clamp, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no leaks. Inside this brake chamber, you have a push rod. Push rod, and then the slack adjuster back here. Both are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. When the brakes are released, push rod shouldn't have more than 1 inch play. Then in here we got our brake drum, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. And then our brake lining, which rides on the brake drum. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Free from oil and grease. And it should be minimum 1/4 of an inch thick, or 1/4 inch material. And that's it for brakes. Brakes is 6 components. Airline, brake chamber and clamp, push rod, slack adjuster, brake drum, brake lining. So 6 components. Next we'll come out to the tire. Tire is properly mounted and secured. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. No leaks. 3 details you have to tell me about this tire. So this is our face. So face is evenly worn. Tread depth has to be 4/32 up here. Okay. Measure it with a feeler gauge or tread depth gauge. And this tire specifically cannot be recapped. Then we'll go out to the rim or wheel. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No legal welds. Then we got our lug nuts. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No rust or shiny spots. Yeah, if you see any of those, that means they're coming loose. Valve stem. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No leaks. This is where I would check tire pressure with an air gauge. Tire pressure should be 95 to 105. And last but not least is our hub seal. Hub seal is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No leaks. Okay. before you finish A, you tell me whatever I did on this side, I will do to the passengers. And that will conclude A.